Welcome to the 2020 Alumni Honors Banquet. We are here tonight to honor some of the University of North Dakota's most esteemed alumni. The recipients of the Sue Award for Distinguished Achievement and Leadership this evening are Jody Feragen, Jack Marcil, Mark Sanford, and Sarah Vogel. Our Young Alumni Achievement Award recipients this evening are Meghan Compton and Paul Sallach. Welcome to all.
The University of North Dakota was founded in 1883, 6 years before North Dakota became a state. In fact, it was the first institution of public higher education in the Dakota Territory. What's even more amazing is that our first graduating class was in 1889. It consisted of 6 women and 2 men. Can you imagine being those first 8 individuals in 1889 to graduate from this amazing university? Well, those 8 individuals wanted to form the Alumni Association. They wanted to stay connected to each other, connected to their university, and find ways to give back to help this great university keep growing. I think of those first 8 graduates and the dedication they had to the university and to each other, the passion they had for the institution, and really the ability to look forward hundreds of years and say, it is important for this university to have an alumni association. It is important for this university to have alumni like us who care deeply for the institution and want to create opportunities for students hundreds of years into the future. And I look at those 8 individuals with admiration and am humbled by their passion for learning and their passion specifically for the University of North Dakota.
I am constantly amazed by the University of North Dakota alumni. They could leave here 40 years ago, and when you meet them and talk to them, it's like they were back on campus yesterday. They're special. They have this joy, this love for the University of North Dakota and the state of North Dakota in many cases. These people truly are special, and I look forward to meeting them and walking those campus paths with them when they return to UND.
We are so fortunate to have this university, and we must continue to support and strengthen it.
This university opened my eyes to the world, and I pray that it does the same for generations of students who follow me.
The University of North Dakota, quite simply, I think is world-class.
I am so proud of the University of North Dakota. I am so proud of the people.
I was nurtured by this school and by the student body.
But this prestigious award only validates what we girls heard from our father most days. If you can't give it your 110%, don't do it at all.
This very distinguished award has an amazing history of people who have received it. Political leaders of our state and our country, outstanding business leaders from across the world, teachers, lawyers, engineers, nurses, doctors who have changed lives every day. And yet, they see it as just what they should do.
I really want to say that you can make a difference here at the university. You want to get involved, and you'll never regret it.
Because the University of North Dakota is a very special place, a place where an ordinary person like me can get an extraordinary education. An education that really did change my opportunities and change my life.
I have found that our recipients are overwhelmed by this distinguished honor. And I would say that we are humbled by their modesty and definitely in awe of their achievements.
UND truly is the foundation that I built my career on. It was here that I really figured out what I wanted to do and how I became the person that I needed to be for this career.
So to you, students, do not take no for an answer. Step forward with vigor and vitality and build and live your dreams.
One of the truest aspects of our society that separates us from the rest of the world is philanthropy, that fundamental motivation and high desire within our society to give back.
As we go forward, there are exciting days ahead for the Minnesota Twins, yes, but more importantly tonight for the University of North Dakota. And just know that I'm personally committed to do everything I can to assist this university in its mission and to assist us get to greater things. I love the University of North Dakota. Thank you very much.
The Sue Award stands as just a real-life example of what one life can mean for the benefit of others.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Deanna Carlson Zink, CEO of the UND Alumni Association and Foundation.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 Alumni Honors Banquet. Those to be honored tonight have taken the knowledge and experiences of their UND educations and accomplished great things in the areas of finance, the law, public service, education, healthcare, and aviation. We are proud to call them alumni of this great university. President Andy Armacost has a great appreciation for the alumni of this university. He understands that the rich tapestry of our history is written by the achievements of those who've come before, and their philanthropy drives the success of our current students as well. Please join me now in welcoming President Armacost to the stage.
What a big crowd. Thank you all for being here on this important night of celebration. And last year was my first such ceremony. And so I feel like I'm old hat, although how many of you had Deanna? 34. So I'm at number 2. So please bear with me as I just share a couple opening thoughts. And really last year when I went through this the first time, the words that came to mind for me were the words commitment and gratitude. And all the stories that we heard from last year's award recipients, and then you saw it on the video screen, were words that we all appreciate and admire. We heard about caring deeply. We heard about creating opportunities for students. We heard doing things for the benefit of others from Earl Strinden at the end. And this is what these awards exemplify tonight, is that sense of commitment and gratitude. And as I thought about those themes, I was given a story just as I walked into the ballroom tonight that exemplifies commitment and gratitude. And that is, at lunch today, we had 2 of our students, Faith Wall, who is our student body president. Faith, where are you? Stand up, please. She's at my table. I just can't see it with the lights on. And her chief of staff, Danny Korsmo, who talked about students, what they're doing, and what their needs are. And they talked about our on-campus food pantry, as well as a fund called the Angel Fund, which supports students in need. And because of the economic conditions and the inflation rates and the challenges that these students face, both Faith and Danny told the stories of many students who were in need. And from what I understand, in executive session, you're not supposed to talk about executive session, but I will, the executive board of the foundation rallied support for the two causes that they brought. And from what I understand, there was more than $15,000 raised in just a matter of moments to support these students in need. So how about a round of applause? Sorry if I broke the confidence of executive session, but I thought it was important to say just an example of the commitment and gratitude that exists. And I'm honored to be on the stage singing the praises of tonight's honorees. And speaking of singing, you all know that I'm a fan of UND's alma mater. The song speaks of the pride we feel and the love yet greater, the ever-burning torch being passed from hand to hand, and of course, gratitude. And this is what we celebrate this evening. And I'm so proud to join you to celebrate tonight's award winners and to recognize what they have done literally for the world. And at each of our major ceremonies, we as a university recently made a commitment about 2 years ago to humbly recognize the physical place that we now call home and the ancestors who remain connected to this land. And so today, the University of North Dakota rests on the ancestral lands of the Pembina and Red Lake bands of Ojibwe and the Dakota Oyate, presently existing as composite parts of the Red Lake, Turtle Mountain, White Earth bands, and the Dakota tribes of Minnesota and North Dakota. We acknowledge the people who resided here for generations and recognize that the spirit of the Ojibwe and Oyate people permeates this land. And as a university community, we will continue to build upon our relations with the First Nations of the state of North Dakota, the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara Nation, Sisseton, Wahpeton, Oyate Nation, Spirit Lake Nation, Standing Rock Sioux Tribe, and Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa Indians. So once again, tonight is about coming together from across the nation to celebrate and honor our incredible UND alumni that we should all be so proud of for how they have made an impact on this world. And may we continue to raise our grateful song forever and for UND. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President Armacost. He has a little bit of passion for this university, don't you think? As he mentioned, we do have a remarkable board of directors which guides our organization in every way to be the best it can be. We also have an outstanding campaign committee. Would current and former board members and campaign members please stand so we can recognize you and thank you for the work that you do. My predecessor, Tim O'Keefe, would often ask what UND and even Grand Forks would look like if not for the power of philanthropy. In fact, you heard that on his video. He was so right about that then, and it is even more true today. So Tim, thank you for your leadership and thank you for being here this evening. We also have a number of students with us this evening. So students who are here, who are currently enrolled at UND, would you please stand and stay standing? So current enrolled students, please stand, stay standing. Still keep standing, students. So many of these students are here thanks to alumni and friends of UND who sponsored their ticket for this evening. So would those who sponsored a ticket please stand so the students and all of us can thank you for bringing them here this evening.
Now, please welcome to the stage Vice President of Marketing and Communications, Sarah Prout, to introduce our Young Alumni Achievement Award recipients.
The The Young Alumni Achievement Award was established 20 years ago to recognize recent graduates of the University of North Dakota who have accomplished great success at a young age. Our first recipient in 2002 was 1989 graduate Laura McCullum, who made a name for herself as Minnesota Public Radio reporter. An update on Laura: last year, she was named Politics and Government Editor at the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. Just as Laura has shown, our Young Alumni recipients are excellent examples that with a UND degree in hand and a willingness to work hard, you can find success at the highest levels. Our first recipient tonight, Meghan Compton, Chief Clinic Operations Officer at Altru Health System in Grand Forks. Meghan believes we all have unique gifts, and the goal isn't to hold on to them, but to share our gifts to, quote, make every day a little bit better than the day before, end quote. Meghan double majored in philosophy and communications at the University of North Dakota before attending UND School of Law. It was her first philosophy class that a professor challenged her to a new way of thinking. And the thought of finding a challenging career took hold. Following law school, Meghan went to work for a local law firm. She discovered an interest in medical malpractice and health law and thought a job as in-house counsel for Grand Forks-based Altru Health System would be an ideal career path. There was only one problem, however. Altru did not have plans for that position, and they didn't have plans to hire one. But Meghan would not be deterred. First, she took a job with Altru as a patient safety coordinator, where she took the opportunity to learn everything she could about healthcare and moved up to new challenges. Eventually, she was named Altru's Chief Legal Counsel and now holds the title of Chief Clinic Operations Officer, leading the legal team, outpatient regional operations, and people resources. Beyond Altru, Meghan volunteers in the community with the Grand Forks Region Economic Development Corporation Board, the Chamber of Grand Forks and East Grand Forks, and the Grand Forks Foundation for Education. Meghan, for allowing your dreams to come true, making the most of the opportunities at Altru Health System, and for sharing your gifts with the greater Grand Forks community, please come forward to accept your Young Alumni Achievement Award.
Good evening. I want to start with a giant thank you to the UND Alumni Foundation, Deanna and her team, for this honor as well as for a beautiful evening. I am truly humbled to be up here today with those being recognized. I did take a few notes so that I can stay on time. As I was reflecting on this award and the feeling that it doesn't really belong to me, but all the remarkable people in my life, a friend of mine who's here tonight said, you know, it's a little like you're on that cooking show Chopped, where the contestants all get a box of mystery ingredients. Each contestant's box is full of different surprise ingredients, and the one who creates the best dish wins. No matter the ingredients, good or bad, you still have to successfully bring them all together for a great meal. He's right. I'm the contestant who hit the mystery box jackpot. I have friends, family, mentors, and colleagues who are here tonight, and so many more that aren't, who have had a profound impact on my life, who have shared their gifts with me and should be on this stage sharing this award. My parents have taught me work ethic. My mom has taught me to stand tall and do the right thing for the right reasons, especially when it's hard. My friends and colleagues and team have shown me support, stood alongside me, and even entertained a few of my crazy ideas. They are the ingredients to the dish, and my success really has come in seeing the gifts in other people. As I prepared for today, there are a few of those people that stood out and actually almost collided at my time at UND. Growing up, my grandfather, Rich Compton, taught me the true meaning of giving to others, particularly those less fortunate than me. When I was 8, 10, 12, the age of my own kids now, he would pick me up and take me to buy gifts at Christmas time for single moms who wouldn't otherwise afford it. After we left the toy store, he would haul me to Shays to pick out a Christmas tree. It always had to be small because he knew who would be taking it out of the house when the season was over. And then back to the store for lights and decorations and a tree stand, and eventually finding our way to her home where we'd set the tree up. Because he knew if she couldn't afford presents, there certainly wasn't going to be a tree to put them under. He has shared gifts in a way that have stamped on my heart. I went on to UND, where I was given incredible opportunities, taught to think outside my own experiences, and I learned to be comfortable being uncomfortable, sort of like I am on stage. When my grandfather learned I was double majoring in philosophy and communications, he was concerned I wouldn't have a career. What would I do if I didn't want to teach? What he didn't realize is that it had given me an opportunity to think more critically, more analytically, and most importantly, just ask my sister, it taught me I wasn't always right. He died during my senior year of undergrad, the same year I met my husband, Willis, at UND. They never got the chance to meet, but I can't help but think that it's not by chance that I found one as I lost the other. Willis has shown me the true meaning of partnership, selflessness, and sacrifice, while teaching me how to raise 3 young men to leave the world a better place than we found it. I see his gifts in giving back, just as I saw my grandfather's, to those who need it most, with little to no recognition. My other grandfather, a graduate of UND's law school, was my biggest supporter during my own law school career and the first few years of my career path. He was the first to say, take the risk, when I left private practice for a career in healthcare. 5 years ago, wintering in Florida, he became critically ill and I was worried I wouldn't get the chance to say goodbye, so I wrote him a long email. My 91-year-old grandma, who's here today and Venmo'd me for her ticket, sent me last night, she dropped off a copy of that email, and I read what seems like a perspective that hasn't changed. I wrote 5 years ago, you have taught me so many things. You've taught me not to be scared of failure, but more importantly, not to be afraid of my success. You've taught me to challenge myself, to keep up with the pace of the world so that I can relate and be interested in those around me, no matter their age, gender, or differences of viewpoints. He taught me the value of diversity and to remain curious. Without my time at UND, I wouldn't have met my husband, I wouldn't have gone to law school in a community that I love so much, and I wouldn't have been given the gift of working alongside some of the most talented people in the healthcare industry. Thank you to the Alumni Foundation for the honor, to UND for the outstanding education and experience, and most importantly, to all the incredible people who have shared their gifts with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Meghan. Our next recipient helps his customers and clients touch the sky. Paul Sallach and his wife Lindsay have transformed the Henderson Executive Airport in Las Vegas in the past 4 years. Their company, All in Aviation, has developed a 26-hangar complex at the airport. So now All in Aviation offers aircraft storage in addition to flight training, pilot certification, and our aircraft sales rentals. Paul and Lindsay met at UND and both worked at Cirrus Aircraft before moving to Las Vegas in 2009 to sell pre-owned aircraft. They started All in Aviation in 2016 and added flight training to their services. Now they can help someone get their pilot's license, then rent or sell them a plane and provide storage on site for that new purchase. It's vertical aviation integration. Duluth-based Cirrus planes still figure heavily in their business as they train pilots in luxury aircraft. To offer a low-cost alternative to wannabe pilots, though they have purchased 3 used Cessna 172s from their alma mater, they are proud of being UND alums that they have kept the planes the Kelly green color scheme. Paul, for taking risks that led to the rapid growth of All in Aviation, and for your pride in your alma mater, please come forward to accept your Young Alumni Achievement Award.
Well, let me start by thanking you guys for the young farewell party. When I turned 40 last year, I thought youth was in the rearview mirror. So what an honor to be recognized by the University of North Dakota Alumni Association for the Young Alumni Award. This place is so near and dear to my heart, as my career launched here from Grand Forks, North Dakota, and I even met my wife, Lindsay, here. You can take the girl out of North Dakota, but you can't take the girl, or the North Dakota out of the girl. This display will be very prominently and proudly displayed back in Las Vegas, as we sincerely love North Dakota and UND. Outside of the state, UND is best known for hockey and aerospace, and that is what attracted me from Erie, Pennsylvania to attend in 1999. My sights were set on flying a commercial airline and getting there as quickly as possible. Much to my dismay, however, the major required several non-aviation related courses in order to achieve this degree. It is because of this that I took sociology courses with the great Frank White, who I saw in the room. I enrolled in several public speaking classes to refine how to better present myself, and completed business communications courses where I learned about the U viewpoint that I use to this day today. Truthfully, I wish I would have taken more non-aviation classes while I was here, as I now realize that almost every pilot has some sort of side hustle business that they do in all of their spare time. The education here is second to none, and let's just say I am so glad that I came to a full-fledged university instead of an aviation tech school in Florida. That was for you, DC. When my time came to be an airline pilot, there were no jobs to be had, as the World Trade Centers had just come crumbling down. The airline industry was in shambles, pay was being slashed, and steadily commercial pilot was a miserable career. Thankfully, however, the University of North Dakota had formed a relationship with this up-and-coming aircraft manufacturer that nobody had ever heard of, Cirrus. And they needed flight instructors to teach people how to fly these new G2 airplanes. So I took the job and I moved to Duluth, Minnesota, and took my paycheck still from the University of North Dakota Foundation, and got to travel all over the country delivering brand new airplanes to new owners. I know, pretty rough, right? I was sitting shoulder to shoulder with people that had just spent $500,000 on a plane, and I wanted to figure out what made them different. These were almost all business leaders. They're entrepreneurs, they're professionals, they were experts in their field. They were most certainly wealthy. What I came to recognize was what set them apart from everybody else was their work ethic. These guys busted their butt. In many instances, these guys and gals were not necessarily the smartest people, but they had one mode: on. This led me to adopt my personal mantra that I live by: work hard, play harder. With the economic recession in 2008, I decided that it was time to bet on myself, to control my own destiny. And we packed up, we moved to Las Vegas to sell pre-owned aircraft with Lone Mountain. Turns out that a 100% commission job forces you to work pretty hard. And I've been blessed with much success in the sales. So what was seriously lacking in Las Vegas was a high-end flight school and a place to store aircraft at the Henderson Executive Airport. So we launched All in Aviation in 2016 to fill this void. And I'm proud to say that our first flight instructor was a UND grad. Our current director of flight ops is a UND grad. And we love to recruit anybody from the University of North Dakota that we can get our hands on. If only we can get them to leave here. So we're waiting on No Fly November, right? It's coming right up. When the time came to add a lower cost alternative to the Cirrus aircraft, we looked no further than UND Aerospace, and have worked now to purchase 3 172s, as you mentioned. It's such a great sense of pride to do business with my alma mater and have November Delta aircraft in our fleet. Let me close by saying thank you for all who came here to support me this weekend. There's almost 40 people in my contingent traveling from all over the place. We've got Minnesota, North Dakota covered. We've got Maryland, North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Colorado, Montana, Louisiana, Rhode Island, Arizona, New York, and of course, Vegas, baby, right? I promise we're gonna live out that mantra. We are gonna party hard this weekend. The roots of UND are deep within the aviation industry, our business, and our lives. And we thank you so much for this recognition. Sue, yeah, yeah.
Congratulations, Paul and Meghan. You both are very deserving recipients of the Young Alumni Achievement Award. Let's give another round of applause for these outstanding young alumni. Before we have our meal this evening, please welcome Pastor Chad Brucklocker from Christus Rex Lutheran Campus Center for the invocation.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here tonight, and it is an honor to represent 3 chapels at the University of North Dakota campus, as well as the spiritual dimension of wellness as one of the 7 pillars of the UND Health and Wellness Center. Please join me as we would pray tonight. Eternal God, we ask a blessing on all schools, colleges, and universities, but especially this evening, a blessing on the University of North Dakota, that we may be a lively place for sound learning, new discovery, and the pursuit of wisdom. And grant that those who teach here and those who learn here may find joy in the challenges of academic life as well as athletic life. We ask your blessing upon the meal that has been prepared. We ask a blessing on the farmers who grow our food in this state and all across this country, on the companies who turn these crops into food, in the transportation systems and the grocery stores that deliver this food to restaurants and to us, and to everyone who is behind the scenes who makes this possible. Thank you, God, that you offer us daily bread and that it is your desire that no one goes hungry. For all this we pray in God's name. Amen.
Now, please welcome back to the stage the CEO of the UND Alumni Association and Foundation and proud 1986 UND graduate, Deanna Carlson Zink.
Let's hear it again for our extremely talented members of the Varsity Bards. Before we bring our first Sue Award for Distinguished Achievement in Leadership recipient to the stage, I'd like to give you a quick rundown of what's on tap for the rest of homecoming week. Tomorrow is UND Spirit Day. We are asking everyone to get their green on and show your Fighting Hawks pride. At 11 a.m., we invite you to the grand opening and ribbon cutting for the amazing Nisser College of Business and Public Administration building. Yes. This project has been a dream for so long that I still pinch myself when I see it standing at the corner of University and Centennial. Werner and Colleen Nissler, our lead donors for this building, are here with us this evening. Would you two please stand to be recognized so we can thank you again? Also tomorrow, there will be an open house at Merrifield Hall celebrating the building's first 93 years. And there are also socials for the College of Engineering and Mines and the UND School of Law. And the UND Athletics Hall of Fame banquet is tomorrow evening. Our UND soccer team has a match against Western Illinois at 3 tomorrow as well. Now, Saturday brings the parade at a new time, 9 a.m., and I want to recognize our Grand Marshals who are with us this evening, David and Gay Williamson. We're so happy they're leading our parade. Please stand. So we practice that wave. Let's practice the wave. Practice the wave. There you go. There you go. Good job. Good job. Of course, tailgating will follow the parade at the Alara Center with the football game starting at noon. Be there and be loud. Volleyball also has a match Saturday at 10 a.m. versus Oral Roberts. And there is an exhibition hockey game at the Ralph on Saturday night. Now, for a complete listing of events with times and locations that can be found at undalumni.org/homecoming. I want to take a moment to give a special thanks to United Valley Bank for once again sponsoring our homecoming events all this week and for sponsoring tonight's awards banquet. Representatives of United Valley Bank are here tonight. Would you please stand so we can thank you? Okay. So now it's time to pay tribute to this year's recipients of the SUA Award for Distinguished Achievement and Leadership. This award is the highest honor given by the UND Alumni Association and Foundation for achievement, service, and loyalty. Since its inception in 1949, this distinguished award has been presented to leaders in government and business, high achievers in various industries and professions, alumni who have dedicated their lives in service to others, and even one UND graduate who has been to outer space. Our first recipient tonight was a trailblazer in the business community. Jody Feragen was the first female to hold an officer position at food giant Hormel Foods. She spent most of her career with the Austin, Minnesota-based company, eventually rising to the position of Chief Financial Officer.
Jody Feragen spent much of her career as an executive with Hormel Foods Corporation. She was the first woman to hold an executive officer position with the Austin, Minnesota-based food giant. Jody eventually became Hormel's Chief Financial Officer, working in tandem with the CEO to improve equity and inclusion before retiring in 2017.
Jody's incredible confidence in her abilities to make an impact, both in her corporate career and in her board responsibilities. She's a strong leader, she's very charismatic, she's very caring of the people around her, and she wants input. She really does an excellent job in making everyone feel comfortable, and that she really wants everyone to be part of moving forward an organization. And I've seen that firsthand. They are such wonderful people. They are extremely supportive and thrilled what's going on here at the university. And I've so enjoyed my time getting to know them as a couple, as a family, and as alums.
Jody served 9 years on the Alumni Association and Foundation's board of directors. She and her husband, Dwayne, have been tremendous supporters of UND. Their latest gift to the Nistler College of Business and Public Administration building project was close to their hearts.
When we were visiting about how they could make a difference on this project, they both shared with us that they had met in a social atmosphere on campus. So that environment of bringing students together was important to them. And they've named the patio at the Nistler College. It's going to be such beautiful space facing the quad, and a lot of interaction will happen out on that patio, and we're thrilled that they're supporting us.
Jody, as a first-generation college student
Jody
from
Feragen.
the small town of Deering, North Dakota, you have made your family and your university very proud. Please come forward to accept your SUE Award for Distinguished Achievement and Leadership.
Oh my gosh. I'm truly honored to receive this prestigious award. So thank you to the UND Alumni Association and Foundation for supporting it. And a very special thank you to my family and friends that have come here to, well, they've supported me throughout my career, but they're here tonight to help me celebrate. I'd like to congratulate my co-honorees, Meghan, Paul, Jack, Mark, and Sarah. You've all accomplished so much. And your success is inspiring, and I'm humbled to be considered in your class. The last time I spoke to a group this large was at a Wall Street investor conference as CFO. I regularly got to get up in front and explain how the grain prices and hog prices would impact the cost of our turkeys and what it meant for the company's profitability. I found it pretty ironic that I had gone to college to get a career where I wouldn't have to worry about grain prices and rain and everything else that went with being a farm person. And there I was, explaining it. Thank goodness I'd grown up on the farm. And that farm was in Deering, in rural North Dakota. I attended Deering High School. I don't think there's many graduates except at my table. I did graduate in the top 10 of my class. There were 9 of us. And I had made the decision to go to the University of North Dakota. Well, I really didn't make the decision. My mother made it because the guy down the street had gone to UND, and that's where I should go too. And I was the first in my family to go to college. And I was fortunate to receive some scholarships that helped defray the cost of my education and the strain on my family's finances. So, thank you to all who supported and continue to support the UND Alumni Association and Foundation. And Dwayne and I are happy to be included in that group, supporting their scholarship efforts. The impact that UND had on me on my career was significant from the first time I stepped foot on the campus. I remember registering for classes, and I'd planned to be a writer or a journalist, but Rodney Medellin, the accounting professor, was right there to help me sign up to be an accountant. He explained to me that there was an abundant opportunity for women in business. Well, this was 1974, and the 60s and 70s, if you remember, were the time of the women's rights movement, the passing of equal employment laws, and Title IX. So, in the fall of 1974, the farm girl from Deering was dropped off at UND to begin my education. I did not know a soul. And I was darn scared that I would not be able to keep up with the rigorous academic expectations or the social life. Luckily, I had an upper-class roommate who, with her already built social circle, was kind enough to include me in her group of friends. Now, I do agree with Paul on work hard, play harder. But when you're an accounting student and have 8 a.m. classes, not so good. UND had a rigorous accounting program. In fact, I found out last night at the Accounting Hall of Fame that we're nationally recognized by some of the big CPA firms, and they've actually come on campus to talk to the professors to figure out what the secret sauce is. So it was good back then, and it still is today. The professors made us work hard, but I think that's what led to the success of the people that were in those courses. And of course, my courses were full of male students. And the professors tried to be fair and encourage everyone to participate, but business students are very competitive. So I learned that I needed to be very deliberate and somewhat assertive to make sure that my voice was heard. And that was a lesson that followed me throughout my career. So UND provided an excellent education, both academically and socially. We spent a little bit of time at Frenchie's. But most importantly, it allowed me to be successful and gave me self-confidence. So the many times that I was the only woman in the room, I didn't feel bad about raising my hand and have them listen to me. But Dwayne's the best thing from UND. I could do this if I'm talking about grain prices and hogs and turkeys, but when it gets personal, it's a little more hard. So he had his own successful, an accountant, of course. He had his own successful career in banking, and he encouraged and supported me all the time. We have 2 lovely daughters, Kari and Kelsey, a couple of great son-in-laws, 4 awesome grandchildren, and I am blessed. Thank you. Congratulations, Jody. Jack Marcil has a sterling reputation as a mediator with Circlin Law Firm in Fargo, where he has spent the last 5 decades. He has also been a steadfast supporter of the UND School of Law.
Jack Marcil has mediated more than 3,500 cases throughout his career, with 95% being settled before going to trial. It's just one measure of an outstanding law career spanning 5 decades.
He's been a very successful lawyer who's made the legal community in North Dakota stronger for his presence and for his activities. He's helped his clients be better. He's resolved so many disputes for people who needed the resolution, and he was able to bring them to agreements, short of having to go to court. And that's a peacemaker, you may say. So he exemplifies that as well. And I think that's something that Sue Award is a really great opportunity to honor and recognize.
Jack has never forgotten what the UND School of Law meant to him as a student, and has been a generous supporter of the school and its current students.
He loves the university. He's been a consistent contributor. I look back at his record even before I came to UND in 2010. He's been there, both as an active student when he was at the law school, an active undergraduate here at UND as well, but someone who's continued to give back, someone who's not only giving back, but also is an ambassador for University of North Dakota with others and to encourage them to give. He models that, and so his example and the fact that he has such a reputation for integrity and character and quality of work that he does as a lawyer, it resonates with others, and it gets them excited to be a part of it as well. Jack is a treasure and someone I'm very, very, very pleased to call a friend.
Jack Marcil, for your long and successful career as a lawyer and for your unwavering support to the UND School of Law. Please come forward to accept your SUE Award for Distinguished Achievement and Leadership.
These lights are bright, so I can't see anybody. Well, what a great honor. I'm so impressed with this whole ceremony. I have so many people here tonight that I know there's enough lawyers in this room that we could start the Bar Association meeting. I also have a lot of Lambda Chi's in here. I didn't realize that many were going to come. I'm happy to see all of you people. I'm deeply honored that UND has recognized both my professional achievements and contributions to UND. You know, I never ever really left UND. I graduated from law school, and as a lawyer, you have to keep training, and you have to keep getting better, and you have to keep working all the time. And so the law school was a natural fit for me. I like teaching. I was very successful as a trial lawyer. There are many trial lawyers in here tonight, and I've personally invited them because it's such a hard occupation. It's a hard job to be a trial lawyer. But they can help other lawyers, young people in the law school, to train them to help you, the public, when you need help. And we have just a wonderful group of lawyers here tonight that I've worked with and know each one of them personally. But UND, thank you so much. I'm humbled by this award because of your recognition. Rob Carolyn is not here tonight, but Rob, a lot of you know him. He is one of the main reasons that I got involved with UND. He sat down with me over 22 years ago and he said, Jack, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to leave as a legacy? And I thought about it, and so I got into the educating and setting up endowments and thinking about legacy and thinking about UND and the law school. And so I've been really involved in the law school. That's who I am, helping the law school to get better lawyers, competent, well-trained lawyers to represent you. Now, I have some of my family here tonight, and it's very important to me. My wife, Kathy Lau, who is here, and Kathy did not graduate from UND. She graduated from another university, but she supports me in my, well, she did. It is an ND issue. It's actually Moorhead State, if you want to know. Well, that's okay. But Kathy loves UND. She comes up, I don't know how many times we've been up here to go to moot court, Kerrigan Cup, meet the students I give scholarships to. Kathy's come with me all the time. She supports me in my endeavor to help UND and the law school. So Kathy, thank you so much. I've got, my daughter is here, Jackie, and her husband, Todd. They're from Fredo. They're from Phoenix with my granddaughter, Madeline, her husband, Ethan Oglesby. And they have a new little daughter, Claire, but she didn't come. We asked her, but she's 4 months old and said, I'm not going to come. Jackie did graduate from UND. My son, Mike Marcil, graduated from UND. And I have my grandson, Max, 16, who just a little bit ago asked me if I was nervous. And I said, well, why do you ask? He says, Grandpa, big crowd, big crowd. But I'm doing okay, Max, I'm doing okay. I have a real special group here tonight. All of these lawyers that are here are special to me, and I have some friends that are non-lawyers too, and I don't want to miss them. But the Circlin Law Firm is here. A lot of the lawyers in Circlin Law Firm, they're big supporters of UND and the law school. Trust me on that. They're big supporters. Jane Dines organized the group, and I have one person at that table that is not a lawyer. Her name is Karen Davis. And Karen has been my legal assistant for almost 20 years. And Karen, thanks for putting up with me. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Karen. There's a lawyer at that table I also want to introduce, and it's Ron McLean. And anyone that knows anything about lawyers knows that Ron McLean is top of the drawer, first class lawyer. Ron and I have been partners for 47 years. 47 years. And there's Ron right there. And Ron, I want to thank you for all of those years being together. You're a lawyer's lawyer, you're a great guy, and you're a very good friend of mine. Now, we're probably not going to get another 47, but thank you, Ron, for your support all those years. There are other colleagues, like I say, I've mentioned the other colleagues that are here. I don't have time to mention all of them. I'd love to if I could. But I do have two people I have to mention. If I don't, I know I'll be in trouble. Harley Geiger and Lloyd Case. Now, the good news about those two is that they're UND graduates, and they're also my golf partners for over 40 years. Now, the fact that you came tonight, I appreciate it, but no more strokes when we play. I'm not going to give you any extra strokes. Now, I have one short story I want to tell you about the dean of the law school. Brian Pappas and I played golf when he first came here in July. And for all the lawyers, I know they're wondering, what about this dean? Well, let me tell you what I observed in 18 holes of golf, which gives me the expertise to tell you what kind of dean he's going to be. So I'm going to give you some pointers, Dean. I know you're in the audience. I can't see you, and that's probably good. You're a great team leader, sound decisions on which ball to play, and great compassion and empathy for my playing ability. It leaves me to believe, Dean, you're going to be great, and we need a great dean in the law school. In closing, UND gave me a foundation. I'm a hard worker, I set goals, and I want to tell you two of my goals that I've had all my life since I got my law degree. One was to train these young people, equip them so they're competent to represent you, the public, and I've been working on that by my time and my resources. And the second thing I've been doing is encouraging other lawyers to do the same thing. And at those tables, many of the lawyers there do. They work at the law school, they teach, and they give resources to the law school so that we have a better law school. We only have one. And when these young people come out of the law school, you can be convinced that they're well-trained and highly educated. Our law school is strong, and with a new dean, a bright future. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jack. We are so proud to have you as an alumnus of this university. Our next recipient led the education of tens of thousands of Grand Forks children as the superintendent of the local school district for nearly 3 decades. Following that distinguished career, Mark Sanford didn't slip into a long retirement. Instead, he ran for office and has served as a member of the North Dakota House of Representatives since 2011.
Mark Sanford devoted his career to education, first in the classroom and then as an administrator. He spent 26 years as superintendent of the Grand Forks Public School District before retiring in 2007.
He is the person, the type of individual that I would hope that teachers, principals, superintendents aspire to be and turn out like. And certainly that is true for somebody who is an advocate for higher education.
Well, rather than relax in his retirement years, Mark decided to run for office. In 2011, he was elected to the State House of Representatives, where he serves as the chair of the Higher Education Committee. He is an advocate for K-12 and higher education, steering his colleagues to re-examine the way they fund both. He has also been instrumental in advancing cost-sharing programs like the North Dakota Higher Education Challenge Grant Fund and private-public partnerships like the one used to fund the Nistler College of Business and Public Administration building.
Mark not only serves as a legislator out of Grand Forks, and so Grand Forks definitely benefits from that, but he's statesman-like minded. So he thinks about the entire state. What's in the best interest of North Dakota? That's what drives his actions, that's what drives his thinking. But he really is an E.F. Hutton. Those of us in the audience, most of us will understand that reference. When he speaks, people stop and they listen. And they know that they're going to come away with something worthwhile having listened to it. To watch that over and over again in committees, in small group conversations, when he's talking to the entire floor of the House, and to watch folks pay attention, listen intently every time, you know that that's an extraordinary legislator who's done a lot of things to benefit the state of North Dakota, and fortunately for us here, the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
Mark Sanford, for leading the Grand Forks School District through the aftermath of the flood of '97, for advocating for the education of our youth throughout your career, and for championing causes important to UND and the legislature. Please come forward to accept your award.
That picture where I was reading to kindergartners was prefaced by the teacher telling me, don't ask them any questions because you lose control right away. My association with UND began at the graduate school level. 5 summers and a year of residency led to 2 degrees and a host of great educators and researchers led by my chair, Dr. Don Piper. An experience during my initial summer cemented my commitment to the University of North Dakota. We were losing my mother to cancer. I needed to go back to Watford City to be with her. And it was the early part of week 7. I went to Dr. Kent Alm, explained my circumstance, and asked for an extension of time to be able to finish the coursework and take the final exams. Dr. Alm said, you got an A. You earned it. You go and tell those other professors that you're going to go home just like I told you. So I was able to go home and be with my mom in the last days. That compassionate behavior demonstrated a caring student for students that I will never forget. And I tried very hard to use that type of an attitude myself in my profession. UND also gave me the opportunity to be a graduate research assistant during my year of residency. My 2 assignments were challenging. The first was coordinating the efforts of 6 small Minnesota school districts to cooperate on curriculum offerings, thus being able to expand their curriculum in a most cost-effective way. The second assignment I had was to travel the state and interview employers asking about what would be needed if we were to start a vocational education, now known as career and technical education, programs in the state. In retrospect, these two opportunities really gave me a chance to see what was coming in terms of both the career education and the reorganization of smaller districts around our state. For me, it also provided insight into the need to consistently look for better ways to provide high-quality programs. In the spring of the year of my residency, I was offered a job in Grand Forks. Over the years, the district and I have benefited from a long-term working relationship with the College of Education here at UND. I want to stress the fact that the College of Education has also been very effective at working with school districts all across the state and here in the upper Midwest. A special example for me characterizes the College of Education's connection to our schools. Our district became interested in transitioning from junior highs to middle schools because the research said this was the most effective model for children at that age of development. So we spent a year, and we had school board members studying, we had teachers studying to see if we wanted to make this decision. We were just getting to the point where we were going to decide when the 1997 flood hit. So that was put on the table for a while, but fortunately we had good insurance, we had a good rapport with FEMA, we received cash that we could use to replace 5 buildings that we lost and remodel the other 17. And so, in the middle of all this, the school board was able to make the decision, let's go to the middle school, and let's use this money to construct those buildings in the proper way so that the facility really works for this model. And it's extremely different than the model that would, and the kind of type of facility that you would use for junior highs. So the topping here on this was that, okay, you've got facilities, now what about teachers who have never taught? There's not a middle school in North Dakota, there's not very many in the country. How are you going to prepare the teachers to handle this new model? UND College of Education came forward and said, we will develop a minor in this field, and so they created an entire minor of study for our teachers, and 125 teachers went through that training, and I would say that is the big reason why it was an extremely successful transition and why that model remains now, today, in effect as the dominant model in the state. And UND has trained almost all of those teachers working in the middle schools. In my legislative work, I represent the state on the Western Interstate Compact of Higher Education. Our meetings offer frequent reviews of best practices in these 19 states and around the nation. These reviews are of great value to me, and they certainly reassure me that our higher education system in North Dakota is performing at a pretty fine level, and that UND is without doubt recognized and admired far beyond our Midwest location. UND means a lot to me, continues to serve as a model of excellence, and provides great value to our state. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to work with UND, and I'm equally grateful for this wonderful honor. Thank you very much.
Mark, congratulations again. You are very deserving of this honor. Our final recipient tonight stood up against the federal government in defense of not only North Dakota farmers, but those across the 50 states. Sarah Vogel's legal activism in the 1980s is chronicled in her book, The Farmer's Lawyer, which has drawn praise from singer Willie Nelson and best-selling author, John Grisham.
Sarah Vogel made a career of defending the underdog, often in cases on their behalf against the power of the federal government. Her perseverance was rooted in her family tree. Her grandfather was active in the Nonpartisan League in North Dakota in the 1920s. Her father, Robert, was a prominent lawyer who served as U.S. Attorney and on the North Dakota Supreme Court.
Just to clarify, those of us who knew Sarah Vogel before the 1980s called her Sally, and I still call her that today. We met more than 60 years ago trying on clothes in a dressing room in Mandan. She'd moved there from the faraway metropolis of Fargo, and we were all a bit intimidated. And truth to tell, I still am today. She was the first true intellectual I ever knew. Unlike most of our friends, her house was full of books and classical music and discussion about politics.
Sarah was part of the honors program at UND, where she took a heavy load of political science coursework. She would earn a law degree from New York University. Her early work in Washington, D.C., and the class action lawsuit she took on after returning to North Dakota are the subject of a book she wrote last year, The Farmer's Lawyer.
Sally is the most passionate person I know. Whether it's saving the family farm, ensuring that Native Americans are treated fairly, or that the rights of the disabled, most prominently her beloved brother Bobby, are protected under the law. She is a fierce and unrelenting advocate. She never gives up, even when it's at great personal sacrifice. It's a passion that was born as a daughter of the North Dakota Nonpartisan League and was perfected during her years at UND. Congratulations, dear friend, on receiving the Sue Award. Your devotion to our state, your intellectual curiosity, and for having the courage to live by your convictions makes us all proud.
Sarah Vogel, from your uphill battle won on behalf of farmers in the 1980s, to your trailblazing election as North Dakota's Secretary of Agriculture, you have made the University of North Dakota proud. We are thrilled to have you as an alumnus of this great university and so happy to present you with our highest honor. Sarah, please come forward and accept your Sue Award for Distinguished Achievement and Leadership.
What a glorious night and gathering tonight. I'm so happy to be here to accept this incredible honor, and there are so many people I'd like to thank, but that would take me way past the time allowed. Instead, I would like to focus on the incredible role that UND and its honors program have played in my life, my career as a politician and as a lawyer, and most recently as an author. When I was in high school in Mandan in '63, '64, I was recruited by colleges all over the country, but the recruitment letter that I got from UND was the best. UND told me that I could be part of something called the Honors Program, where I could set my own curriculum. I could do original research. I could attend special colloquia led by esteemed faculty members. But best of all, I didn't need to decide on a major, and I didn't have to take classes I didn't want to take. For example, classes that involved science, mathematics, or economics. In other words, I could have 4 years of an ultra liberal arts education. What wasn't to like? So I accepted. 3 years later, I was very intense back then. Sally Vogel was listed in the commencement brochure as one of the 5 graduates of the 4-year honors program. It was the honors program that brought me to UND, and the UND honors program has had a lasting effect on my personal and professional life. I'll give one example. In January 1966, I turned in one of the 2 major papers I submitted for my honors degree. It was for a colloquium called America Between the Wars. The title of my paper was The Farmer's Holiday in North Dakota. Growing up in a family steeped in the North Dakota Nonpartisan League, I'd heard stories about how Governor Bill Langer, my grandfather's great friend and ally, had issued a farm foreclosure moratorium, and how he had been supported by a group of farmers in the Farmers Holiday Association. I wanted to know more about it, so this was the topic I picked for that paper. I read many books. I dug into old newspapers. I read boxes of archived documents that I found in the sub-basements and special collections of the Chester Fritz Library. The paper I ended up writing told a fascinating story about how during the 1930s farm depression, nonpartisan league leaders like Governor Bill Langer and Usher Burdick worked with thousands of farmers who were members of the Farmers Holiday Association, and how they stopped thousands of farm foreclosures and got new laws adopted that protected farmers during hard times. I was obsessed with the story I uncovered. This is the paper I submitted on January 20th, 1966. It is 60 typed pages. It has 142 footnotes and a 3-page bibliography. On the cover, I see comments from the faculty members who had to read this monster. One of them said, "Verbosity is not a virtue, even for honors students." Another one said, "Rather verbose, but very well researched." These allusions to verbosity and research signaled that I should go to law school, where my verbosity and research skills would be appreciated. I am very grateful to UND and to the honors program for allowing me the full exercise of freedom to write and to do original research. As a tiny aside, I just have to aim a small dig at a competitor of UND that shall go nameless, but is about 80 miles south. I wouldn't ordinarily say this in open company, but with all these UND folks here tonight, I'll confidentially share how I answered a question that I was often asked by students who came to my office, or whom I met here and there all around the state during the 8 years that I was Commissioner of Agriculture. The first woman in U.S. history to be elected to such a post. This question was, what is your background, and how did you become Commissioner of Agriculture of North Dakota? My answer then and now is this. First thing, you start with an ultra liberal arts education from the University of North Dakota. So thank you, UND. Thank you to my friends who are here tonight. Thank you, Honors Program.
Congratulations, Sarah. Sarah, Mark, Jack, Jody, tonight you have joined a select and remarkable group of UND alumni and friends who are shining examples of what a UND diploma and hard work can accomplish. We are proud to call you alumni of this great University of North Dakota. At this time, I'd like current and former Sue Award for Distinguished Achievement in Leadership and Young Alumni Achievement Award recipients in the audience to please stand so we may recognize you. The artist Pablo Picasso is quoted as saying, "The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away." Our award winners over the years have done just that. I'd like to think the University of North Dakota played a major part in them finding their gift, but also having a giving spirit which comes from the heart. The university is lucky to have so many people who care about the future of the institution and its students. We at the UND Alumni Association and Foundation work every day to help our donors find their philanthropic purpose, to become part of the collective we that gets the job done for UND and its students. We do is the message that we're carrying forward into this school year, as it's a response to a list of accomplishments and a call to action. As in, who educates the most Indigenous doctors in the United States? We do. Who ranks in the top 5% of business schools worldwide? We do. We don't just talk, we do. The institution and its students are also part of the collective we. We lead, we create, we are leaders in action. At my State of the UND Alumni Association and Foundation address a few weeks ago, I asked those in attendance to stand and respond, "We do," to a series of questions. You've already started this, you're good. I won't ask you to stand because we are so tightly packed into this beautiful ballroom this evening, but I would ask you to respond, "We do." Who drives the success of the University of North Dakota? We do. Come on. Who helps students achieve their dreams? We do. Here we go. Who loves the University of North Dakota? We do. We succeed together. We make a difference in the lives of all of these wonderful UND students. We are proud to be a part of the UND family. Thank you all for another wonderful Alumni Awards banquet. Feel free to stay and socialize and congratulate this evening's recipients. I hope you are as inspired by their stories as I am. We can all learn from their examples. Have a great evening.